She introduced to Krishna consciousness in 2001 and took Diksha in 2006 with Krishna and Guru Mercy. Mataji is engaged in many services like cooking, preaching, conducting Sunday school for kids of all ages, conducting bhakti, rickshaw programs for devotees, many spiritual reading, chanting, and Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam sections in English and Telugu on a daily and weekly basis. In Sati Foundation, Mataji has been a big support for past 2 years. She has been supporting every year kids summer camp classes as well as helping in PSF Kids Academy classes also. And as of now, she is taking Madhusudan classes, Advent of Shri Krishna. It happens every Monday, and fortunately my daughter also attends those classes, and I'm really blessed to say that. She is a postgraduate in computers and works as software professional, has 3 kids, and practices Krishna consciousness along with her Prabhu, His Grace Rupangu Krishna Das, disciple of His Holiness Dear Pataka Swami Maharaj, and kids. Let's get started and immerse ourselves in Krishna consciousness and dive deep to the higher taste, the nectar. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My Dandavat pranams to all the assembled devotees on the call. I seek permission of all of you, and also please be merciful on me to glorify Lord Krishna and his talks. We all know, his talks and we are not different. So from 32nd sloka of first chapter of Bhagavad Gita we are doing. So we all will start with our Mangalacharan prayers, seeking blessings of all the acharyas, Guru and Krishna, so that we can understand Bhagavad Gita as it is. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Observing the Armies. That is the title which Srila Prabhupada has given. So some of you who may be seeing other versions or Sanskrit printing, you will be seeing Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So I always used to wonder in the beginning, yoga, how come this is yoga? Arjuna's lamentation, how will that be an yoga? Like, so I used to have that question, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So Arjuna's lamentation, we all know why Arjuna was lamenting and what is his problem. But then why is that in yoga? So yoga basically means like union with the Lord, Supreme Lord, union with the Lord. connection, establishing a connection with the Supreme Lord. So Arjuna is such a wonderful devotee. He opens up in front of Krishna and explains all inhibitions he's having, all questions he's having, what is going on in his heart with respect to this war. And then he speaks his heart out with Krishna. And then later in second chapter, we see how he surrenders to Krishna and seeks his guidance. So in that way, even though in the beginning it may be sounding like how his lamentation is becoming an yoga, even in his lamentation is associated with the Lord. He's asking questions. He's expressing his feelings sincerely, openly, putting everything in front of the Krishna. And then he's not hesitating like, I may be doing a mistake or not. He's very confused. He's overwhelmed. He's speaking with Lord, and he's seeking suggestions also from the Lord. So in that way, even in that situation, when emotions are so high, when he's lamenting, Arjuna is connected to the Lord. So his first chapter, his situation, he opening up with Krishna has actually paved way for Krishna to speak and then give his answers, and he gets a deeper connection with the Lord, and he knows what to do at the end of the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. So that's why Arjuna Vishadha Yoga. So he is connecting with the Lord, he's speaking with the Lord, he's expressing himself with the Lord. So 32 to 35. Kim no rajena govinda, kim bhoger jivitena va, yeshamarthe kangshitam no, rajyam bhoga sukani cha, tame vastita yuddhe, pranam stektva dhanani cha, acharya pitarah putras, tataiva cha pitamaha, matula swasura pautra, tyala sambandhinastata, etan nahantumichhami, jnatopi madhusudhanam, api troilokya rajasya, heto kim no mahi krute, nihatya datra rashtanna, kapritasya janardhana. So Arjuna is speaking. Arjuna has various reasons for not fighting. So Bhagavad Gita, first chapter starts with a dialogue between Sanjaya and Dhritarashtra, where Dhritarashtra is curious to know what is happening in the battlefield, how the war is proceeding. We all have seen, like, he knows that his sons are not on the right side, but he also knows the power of the place where the war is happening. He also kind of guesses the outcome, but still he's having somewhere a hope that he can cling to the kingdom. His desire to enjoy the kingdom has made him seen this day, but still he's not realized. We see how later after the Kurukshetra, Vidura comes and puts some wisdom in Dhritarashtra, and how Dhritarashtra retires from everything and goes to the forest and leaves the body. And Arjuna pretty well knows who are all coming for the battle. All the conversations, peace talks, everything happened. And then now the war is happening. Just before the war, Arjuna asks Krishna, can you please take my chariot between the armies? It's not that he will be seeing some new people, or he don't know the opposite army's strength, or who are going to come and fight. But he was like really want to make sure that all these people were getting ready to fight, but are they really coming and fighting? So he is like having that, even though how much ever we prepare for a big day in our lives, on that day, we will have that anxiety. So Arjuna is undergoing that kind of a feeling. So he goes there, and then after seeing all of them, he starts speaking. So Kim no Rajena, so O Govinda, of what avail to us or a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself, when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield? O Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-laws, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, Why should I wish to kill them, even though they may otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So all the previous Prabhujis and Matajis who have started this chapter might have told Arjuna's reasons for not fighting are classified into four: compassion for his relatives, friends, and family, and enjoyment. He is wondering, like, I will not be able to enjoy this kingdom. That is his second reason. So we are in that part where he says that I won't be able to enjoy, no pleasure. I won't derive any pleasure. So that, and the third reason we see is fear of sinful reactions. So Arjuna worries that he will be having sinful reactions for which he has to go to the hellish planets. And later, he also thinks forward for the future generations. So his reasons can be classified into these four categories for us to understand that how he says that he will not be fighting. So here Arjuna's reason is like, Kimno Rajena Govinda. What kind of kingdom? Kimno Rajena Govinda. What kind of kingdom? Kim Bhogerna Jivitena. Wow. What kind of an opulence, what kind of an bhoga or enjoyment that I am going to get. So he's questioning what kind of kingdom I'm going to enjoy and what kind of enjoyment I will get by living. Yesham arte kanksamno rajyam bhogai sukanicha tamevastitha yuddhe pranam styaktva dananicha. After ardhe kankshitam, yesham ardhe kankshitam. So far enjoying with whom, like, we all want to earn a lot of money, lot of opulences and all. But if we don't have anybody, let's say you will be given a free pass to go to a beautiful island where you can, that was your dream place to go and enjoy on a seashore. And then they will say that you have to go alone. There won't be anybody on that island. You will be going alone there and enjoying. You don't have anybody, you cannot take your family or friends or anybody, just be alone. So you may be very excited in the beginning, but after some time, you will get bored. You don't feel like enjoying. And we see this kind of a nature in us also, like half of our enjoyment of our opulences and our riches comes when we show that to the people, or a little bit better people, when we share it with our loved ones, we will be even more happy. So Arjuna is now questioning, for what actually I am fighting? What kind of a kingdom I'm going to get after this fight if I win this fight? Arjuna is pretty sure that he's going to win. Arjuna has that confidence. Arjuna is not worried that he's going to lose. So he's saying, Kimno Rajena Govinda. What kind of a kingdom I'm going to get? Govinda. Kim Bhoger Jivitenava. Esham Arthe Kankshitam no. No, Rajyam Bhoga Sukanicha. Tamevastitha Yuddhe Pranam Stektva Dananicha Acharya Pitara Putras Tataivacha Pitamaha. Oh, Govinda. Govinda. The meaning for the word Govinda means like who is the master of the senses and who gives pleasures to the cows. So here the names which Krishna calls Arjuna or Arjuna calls Krishna, if we start paying attention, they have a meaning for it also. Like we all can relate this. Let's say in our childhood, especially I could relate the way my mother calls me. I know whether she's calling me in a happy mood or whether she's calling me in an angry mood. Right now, what is her mood? I will know the way she calls me. When she calls me with my full name, I know for sure she's mad with me and she's going to now, she's upset with something. And when she calls me with my nickname, I know that she's very, she's now in a happy mood and she's joyful and she wants to share some joyful news with me. So Acharyas, Prabhupada, have given an explanation how these names are related. So the Govinda here means a master of the senses, Krishna, and master who gives pleasure to the cows. So right now, what is the position of the senses of Arjuna? Arjuna is later we see that Arjuna will say like my hands are like trembling. He's like shivering. So his senses are out of control. So in one way, like he's like referring to Krishna as Govinda, saying you are the one who is the master of the master of the senses, and right now my senses are out of control. On top of it, Krishna, you brought me in between these two armies, and you are expecting me to fight this war. So he is thinking ahead that Krishna has brought him between the armies to go ahead with the war. So he's like kind of, you are putting me in this situation where my senses are unstable, and you being the master of the senses. So in that sense, he's asking, oh Govinda, of what avail to us or a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself? So Arjuna is actually not feeling the value of his life also. Like Jivitena, he says, Kim Boge Jivitena, enjoyment, happiness, kingdom. We may desire them or now arrived on the battlefield. Like for who, like most of us work for our family. Like we won't work to enjoy alone. And when our family itself is not there, we find no meaning in working hard. We will be depressed. We don't have any impetus to work. So that is the feeling Arjuna is going through. When all that family with whom I want to enjoy, or let us go a little more further, to whom I want to show, are all going to die. I will be alone with all these appliances and all these kingdom. Then what is the pleasure in that? What is the pleasure in enjoying that kind of a thing? When I cannot share my appliances, my riches, my happiness with anybody, what is the use of having all those things? So that is the state of Arjuna. Oh Madhusudana, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, fathers-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? So this is not the mood a warrior should have. So warrior should be not ready to give up even before fighting the war. And he should not be ready to sacrifice his life without even starting the war. So Arjuna is saying, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? So Arjuna is ready to accept to get killed by them, but he doesn't want to kill them. So, and he lists all these people. You may be wondering. So I'm seeing we have already seen this list. Why Arjuna is listing again? The earlier list was made by Sanjaya, and this list Arjuna is giving, or he's one more time making sure that all these people have come to fight and they are standing on the opposite side of him. Why should I wish to kill them, even though they may otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities. So he calls Janardhana. So Janardhana also has a meaning. Janardhana means who take care of the living entities, who delivers, who protects who uplifts the living entities. And the other meaning it also has is like who relieves Mother Earth from the burden of the miscreants. So Arjuna is indirectly telling that, Krishna, why I should kill all these people? Can you kill all these people? Because you will not be accounted for killing them, because you are God and you can escape from the sinful reactions. Why should I be killing all these miscreants? We can take in that sense. The other sense, the acharyas say, you are supposed to be protecting all these people. And why are you encouraging me to kill all these people, Krishna? So the Janardhana word, the reference here Arjuna using, is having that meaning. He's saying like, you are supposed to be the protector of all these people, and you know pretty sure that if the war starts and we Pandavas are definitely going to get our victory over them, and we will be killing them. And you being the protector of them, you are indirectly like kind of not stopping me from this war, and you are encouraging me to war. So I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the three worlds. So now Arjuna is coming to the place saying, then even if you are going to make me enjoy the three worlds also, I am not ready to fight. There is no point having any of these appliances with all my loved ones getting killed. So Arjuna is becoming emotional. Sometimes we will be we will be talking like this when we are very emotional. We often use words which we really don't mean. Like, even if you give me 1 lakh, even if you give me 1 crore, I'm not going to move from this place. So we use all those kind of examples to give the importance of to show how important that decision that we are making to us. So Arjuna is also talking api trailokya rajasya. What are you saying, Krishna? Not I am fighting for this single kingdom. I am fighting for this kingdom. Even if you give me the 3 words, I'm not going to fight. Heto kimna mahi krute nihatya datra rashtrana kapitara sya janardana. I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the 3 worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Arjuna pretty much knows that for the war, sons of Dhritarashtra only are coming. But then again, he's saying, what I am going to get? This kingdom? I am not behind this kingdom. Even if you give me 3 worlds, right now my mood is that I'm not ready to fight. So Arjuna's mindset is right now like that. I will not be able to enjoy the fruit of this action that I am going to perform. It pretty much sounds like one of us. If I'm not hungry, I'm not going to cook because I'm not going to enjoy the fruits of this action. So let me not even do this action at all. Most of the times. Anyway, I don't have anything to do with this. They are not going to recognize me by doing this service, or I'm not going to do this. So Arjuna is like, I am not going to enjoy the results of this war. So I am not ready to fight the war. So if we notice here, Arjuna's enjoyment is the center. So that is what is centered. So Arjuna is still I-centered, like he's thinking from his perspective. So that's what we see in this 32 to 35, where Arjuna speaks. And the 2 words, if you all start noticing, Srila Prabhupada's books, we really have to read with a book and a pencil, a book and a pen next to it, and pay attention to the words that are used and the references which Prabhupada gives. And the names, especially Krishna and Arjuna call each other, they're all very important. So this is what it is. And Arjuna, actually, if we see here, Arjuna is asking questions to Krishna, even though they doesn't look directly. But if we see here Arjuna is asking questions. Why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? What pleasure will I derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? So Prabhupada always wanted all of us to be strong in our philosophy by clearing our doubts, by asking questions submissively, rather than being devotees sentimentally. So where we derive that, where we get that inspiration from Arjuna. Arjuna is asking in the form, putting all his inhibitions, putting all his doubts in front of Krishna as questions, so that Krishna can help clarify those things for him. Right at this position, Arjuna forgot Krishna's position, and he also forgot that Krishna has already killed them, and just Arjuna being an instrument. All this happened because his emotions are very high. We'll go to 36. Papam evashrayedasman hatvaitanatatainaha tasman narhavayam hantum datrarashtran sabandhavan swajanam hi katam hatva sukinatyama madhava. One more word here. Arjuna uses Syama Madhava. Sins will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess, and how could we be happy by killing our kinsmen? So if we deeply think, Arjuna is thinking, he is thinking in a right way, and he knows more than Krishna. So that is also his mindset slightly. If we observe subtly, that is his understanding. Papam evasrayed asman. Papam, sin. Evasrayed asman. Sin will overcome us. Hatvaitan atatainaha. So he is contradicting himself. How he is contradicting himself? Hatvaitan atatainaha. By killing these atatainaha, aggressors. He is telling that they are aggressors, and in another sentence before he is saying that sin will come by killing these aggressors. And Manusamrita, Arjuna is not somebody who is not scripturally educated or who doesn't know the dharmas. Arjuna is a king, and he is a Kshatriya. He is supposed to be administrating the people according to the dharmic rules. So Arjuna will be knowing the socio-religious rules and all. That's why Arjuna is able to call them aggressors. So what Prabhupada writes in the purport, there are 6, according to the Vedic injections, there are 6 kinds of aggressors. A poison giver, one who sets fire to the house, one who attacks with deadly weapons, one who plunders riches, one who occupies another's land, and one who kidnaps a wife. Now, if we start putting the check mark, whether sons of Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana, and all the 100 kids, did they do any of these things? If we go one by one, poison, they gave poison to Pandavas. They put their house on a fire. They attacked them with deadly weapons. They plundered their riches and they sent him out of the kingdom. And they occupied their land. It is the land they are supposed to rule. And they kidnapped, they disrobed Draupadi. So they are qualified more than once. All the 6 sins or offenses or aggressions these kings of sons of Dhritarashtra have done. And they are, according to the Vedic injections, they should be killed immediately without any second thought. That is the thing. But Arjuna is not thinking like a ruler right now. Arjuna is thinking like a devotee, like a saintly person. So this is something we all will be thinking sometimes, like, oh, who am I to judge that person? Who am I to punish that person? Krishna will punish. Let me not punish and let me suffer. Sometimes we think like that. But here, Arjuna is a king. Arjuna is an administrator. If not for himself, he has to think about the people who are dependent on him, thinking that Arjuna is going to win this war and rule this kingdom and establish dharma. They are now tired of adharmic rules of Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. And now Arjuna, because of his compassion towards them, and because of his fear of getting simple reactions of killing them, even though they deserve to be killed, Arjuna is doing a mistake here. So such killing of aggressors is quite befitting any ordinary man. But Arjuna was not an ordinary person. He was saintly by character, and therefore he wanted to deal with them in saintliness. This kind of saintliness, however, is not for Kshatriya. This is not the quality of a Kshatriya. This is the quality of a Brahmana. Brahmanas should be behaving like that because Brahmanas are supposed to educate the mankind in the rules and regulations, but not Kshatriyas. So we should be doing what is our nature, our job. And being a Kshatriya, Arjuna wants to act like a Brahmana. Although a responsible man in the administration of a state is required to be saintly, he should not be cowardly. Prabhupada uses this word so nicely. So devotees are not cowards. We should not be, we don't need to be aggressive, but we can be assertive. Like when you know that something somebody is doing is becoming an obstacle for the path of your devotion, we should be knowing how to distance ourselves from those kind of things and progress in our spiritual life. We should not be thinking that, oh, I am a devotee. I should be tolerating. I should be forgiving. So here, Prabhupada writes, he should not be cowardly. For example, Lord Rama was so saintly that people even now are anxious to live in the kingdom of Lord Rama. But Lord Rama never showed any cowardice. Ravana was an aggressor against Rama because Ravana kidnapped Rama's wife, Sita. But Lord Rama gave him sufficient lessons unparalleled in the history of the world. In Arjuna's case, however, one should consider the special type of aggressors, namely his own grandfather, own teacher, friends, sons, grandsons. Because of them, Arjuna thought he should not take the severe steps necessary against ordinary aggressors. So the toughest battles are with the loved ones, with the close ones. It becomes even tougher when aggressors are our own relatives, our own friends, our own family. We will be we will be overwhelmed by emotions. Like if we may be an expert surgeon, we may be an expert physician, but if we have to operate our own children, we will not be able to do that. Emotions overcome us, and we have to be really, really hard-hearted, and we have to be very detached, and we have to keep our emotions under control and do. So if we understand the situation of Arjuna, when we compare it to Rama, Rama was fighting Ravana was aggressor, and Rama has put Ravana in his place by teaching him lessons. But why is it becoming difficult for Arjuna? Because these people are all his loved ones. Even if we see in this verse, Swajanam is the word which Arjuna uses many times in this chapter. They are my people. They are my people. That's what Arjuna thinks. Arjuna thinks like that because Arjuna is a saintly person, but they do not think like that. They are not thinking. They are not thinking like that. They did not think like that. That's why they have been aggressive on Pandavas from the beginning. But Arjuna is thinking like that because Arjuna is saintly. So Arjuna is like here establishing the qualities which, like devotees, we should be doing. Like, always dharma is with respect to us. In our relations, it's always with respect to us. We say if somebody is jumping from the cliff, if somebody is being mean to us, being mean to them is not the solution, because they will be suffering for their meanness and we will be suffering for our meanness. Krishna will not say that, oh, they are mean to you, you're mean to them. Okay, I'm canceling, the equation is cancelled. Both of you are happy, go. No, Krishna won't say that. Krishna will say that whether you acted mean or not, whether they acted mean or not, if they acted, they will be punished for that. If you acted, you will be punished for that. So sometimes we will justify our actions saying that it is because of the opposite person we are behaving like this. But here Arjuna is exhibiting a quality of a great devotee where he's seeing the people who are aggressors, who have done everything harmful to their family, but still Arjuna is not ready to kill them. So Arjuna is, because he is a saintly person, he is a devotee, Arjuna is thinking like that, and Arjuna is having a biggest conflict. Kula dharma, Kshatriya dharma. Like actually, we all should be supporting our family. That is our Kula dharma. Because for a reason, all of us are together. For a reason, we are having a certain person as a wife, certain person as a husband, certain people as our children, our parents. So for a reason, we are all together. If we can together elevate ourselves, if we can together progress in spiritual life or devotional life, or at least doing good things, we all have accompaniment, like we all be together and it becomes more easy to do things, and we all support each other. So there is a dharma towards our family like that. So Arjuna is feeling that he has a Kula dharma, and on the other side he has a Kshatriya dharma also, because he is a warrior and he has to protect. He has a dharma towards the people of the kingdom, so he is now between those two things. He's pulled between those two things. Such injections for saintly persons are more important than any political emergency. Arjuna considered that rather than kill his own kinsmen for political reasons, it would be better to forgive them on the grounds of religion and saintly behavior. He did not therefore consider such killing profitable simply for the matter of temporary bodily happiness. After all, kingdoms and the pleasures derived therefrom are not permanent. So why should he risk in his life an eternal salvation by killing his own kinsmen? Arjuna's addressing of Krishna as Madhava. So Madhava here means, Dhava means husband, Ma means Mother Lakshmi. So who Madhava, husband of the goddess of fortune, is also significant in this connection. He wanted to point out Krishna that as the husband of the goddess of misfortune, he should not induce Arjuna to take up a matter which would ultimately bring about misfortune. Krishna, however, never brings misfortune to anyone, to say nothing of his devotees. So he says, Sukhina Syama Madhava. So for enjoying this kingdom, why should I undergo this kind of a act where it brings me sinful reactions and I suffer my sins? So let me not do this. And he again calls Krishna as Syama Madhava. You are supposed to be somebody who brings fortune to others because you are the husband of mother of fortune. And you are suggesting me, you are not stopping me from doing something which is going to bring me misfortune. For what sake? For enjoying this kingdom? Should I commit these sinful reactions? And then for the sake of the kingdom, should I commit this sin and then enjoy that kingdom? I don't think that is a good idea, Krishna. So that's what Arjuna is thinking. And we often see people commit sins with their loved ones for enjoyment. When our sense gratification grows, when our attachments towards property, towards land, towards our enjoyment increases, and then we will become hard-hearted. Actually, we think attachment actually makes us soft-hearted. But if you're attached to something, that makes you hard-hearted to everything else. You will be only concerned about that particular thing that you are attached to. Like how Dhritarashtra is attached to the kingdom. He wants the kingdom. So he being a father, Pandavas lost their father, and he has to be in the position of a father and protect. He should be thinking that I have 105 children instead of 100. But all along, because of his attachment towards the kingdom, he could never show love and compassion towards the sons of Pandu. He was always indifferent to them. He gave a lot of troubles. He never said no. He always used to excuse himself, saying that they won't listen to me. So this is something we often encounter also when we have to say what is right and what is wrong. 2 times if somebody don't listen, we will say that they anyway don't listen. Let me not tell them what they are doing wrong. By telling itself, our duty finishes. And by doing our duty itself, Krishna gets impressed. And Dhritarashtra never did that. Dhritarashtra, many times when Bhishma encountered him, and when Bhishma put him in a position and asked, like, why are you not stopping Duryodhana? Dhritarashtra always escaped saying, like, my kids don't listen to me. But he never really put his feet down and told them that what they are doing right, because he himself wanted that. He was attached to the kingdom. His attachment to the kingdom made him follow adharmic ways, completely forget about dharma, and achieve that enjoyment after which we are running. So this happens to us also. One roaming sense can make us fall down, can take over our intelligence to discriminate what is right or wrong. So when emotions are very high, we need to learn to put a pause button on our emotions, so that we don't take decisions which we will not take otherwise when we are sane. So here Arjuna is asking Krishna, Madhava, Syama Madhava, why are you asking me to get this misfortune by killing my own people who are relatives to me, who are friends to me? This sin will going to overcome us. So I don't know, Mataji, if anybody wants to read. I'm just going, but if anybody wants to read, please go ahead. We can go for the 37, or I can read. Sorry, I didn't ask that in the beginning.
Mataji, I think you continue. I don't know if we have option to share right now.
Okay. Yadyapyetena paschyanti dubopahata chestataha kulakshayakrutam dosham mitradrohe cha patakam katam nagneyam asmabihi papadasman nivartitum kulakshayakrutam dosham prapasyadhibhir janardana. So Arjuna is using Kulakshaya Krutam Dosham twice in these verses. If we notice, he's saying Kulakshaya Krutam Dosham. He repeats that word. So when we are emotionally high, we will be repeating the words which we think are very important to us. Yadyapi ete pashyanti. Yad apyete na pashyanti. He's saying they are not able to see that what they are going to do is wrong. So they cannot see that, like how Arjuna is thinking that they are all relative to me. Actually, Arjuna, Pandavas are also related to sons of the Dhritarashtra. So Arjuna is here saying, Yadyapi etena pasyanti. Pasyanti means to see. They are not able to see. What if they are not able to see? That's what here actually he means. What if they are not able to see? Why they are not able to see? Lobho pahata chetasa. Lust has overcome their consciousness. Lobha, greed. Greed has overpowered their consciousness. Lust, anger, greed, or the three gates for hell. As long as these three are there, they will hijack our intelligence and our consciousness, and they will make us think that whatever we are doing in that stage when our emotions are high or right. So Arjuna is identifying that they are all overcome by lust. Their chetasa, their consciousness is lobo pahata, stolen by their greed, overpowered. It has been so that's why they are not able to think that they are going to commit a sin. Kulakshaya krutam dosham, killing the family. So actually, according to the scriptures, killing our own family is a dosham, is a sin. It's not something appreciable or you will be rewarded for. So kulakshaya, in killing the family, kulakshaya dosham, mitra dohecha patakam, even fighting with the friends, mitra dohecha patakam, even that is also sin. Patakam means a sin for which you will suffer for a longer time, like mitra dohecha patakam, because there are some friends there also. He has friends. Arjuna is having friends on the opposite side of the army. As I said earlier, likewise, Arjuna is also friend to them. So they are ready to kill their own friends, family, and relatives because their consciousness is overcome by greed. In quarreling with friends, sinful reactions, katham, why? Katham nagneyam asmabhi. Why should not we should be doing asmabhi? Why should we be doing papad asman nivartitum kulakshaya krutam dosham prapasyadhibir janardana. So, O Janardana, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? So all these are questions by Arjuna. Arjuna is asking, like, no, why are you not seeing what I am seeing, Krishna? You are supposed to be seeing all these things and you should have stopped me way earlier. That Arjuna, don't go and fight. Again, he calls here, O Janardana, one who takes care of the people, who protects the people. I know that they are not able to see that killing your own family and friends is wrong because they are overcome by greed. But I'm not overcome by greed because he already mentioned that I am not a greedy person. I don't want this kingdom or even the three worlds. I'm ready. He will go further and say, I'm ready to beg on the streets also, which is not the nature of a Kshatriya. It is not the nature of the Kshatriya. It is the nature of a Brahmana. But ready, Arjuna is ready to that. Arjuna is saying here, why should I fight? Asmabhihi, by us, papat, nivartitum. Why can't we stop this sinful action by not fighting? Prapasyadhihi, by those who can see. We can see, they can't see, I can see, we are very clear. Our consciousness is not overcome by greed. I am saying, why can't we see that and stop this sinful action by not fighting? So Kshatriya is not supposed to refuse to battle gamble when he's invited so. Under such an obligation, Arjuna could refuse to fight. Because he had been challenged by the party of Duryodhana in this connection, Arjuna considered that the other party might be blind to see the effects of such challenge. Arjuna, however, could see the evil consequences and could not accept the challenge. Obligation is actually binding when the effect is good, but when the effect is otherwise, then no one can be bound. Considering all these pros and cons, Arjuna decided not to fight. So this is also an important point. Obligations is actually binding when the effect is good. But when we know that the effect is wrong, we can back off from that. But why even that is wrong here, we will learn. Krishna will answer all these questions throughout the Bhagavad Gita. So that is what is Arjuna. They cannot see what they are doing is sin. because their consciousness is over from greed. I can see my consciousness is not over. Why should I then fight and get the sin and suffer? 39. Kulakshaya pranashyanti kuladharma sanatanaha dharme naste kulam krishnam adharmo bhavatyuta. Again, Arjuna is thinking, he is speaking smart. Arjuna is all along thinking, Arjuna is speaking intelligently, because he himself says later that, Krishna, don't think that I am speculating all these things and speaking. I'm quoting whatever I have heard from the acharyas. So, but here he is saying, Kulakshaya pranashyanti. In destroying the family, pranashyanti becomes vanquished. Kula dharma. What, when we destroy a family, what is that is going to disappear? That is kula dharma. Whatever is that kula's occupation, that gets destroyed. Sanatanaha. The family traditions will get destroyed. So that is what he has now moved to, from the reason of sinful reactions to family traditions. So here Krishna is saying that dynasty will be destroyed. Kulakshaya pranasyanti, kula dharma sanatanaha. So what is the wrong here? Arjuna is saying kula dharma is not sanatana. The only dharma that is sanatana for us as jivas is our relationship with the Lord. Our kula dharmas are not sanatana. They are temporary. We have taken in this life, we may be taking, we might have taken birth in one family. And then our kula dharma will be according to that body, whatever we have taken the family. But it is not sanatana. It is not permanent. It is temporary. As soon as we leave this body and we take another body which belongs to a different kula, that becomes our kula dharma. The only dharma that is sanatana, that is permanent, that is always there, is our relationship with God at the soul level. And we always forget that. Fortunately, we do everything unfortunately, we do everything with respect to the body in the day, and that which is with us from which is eternal, is coming, which is there with us from all the lifetimes that we have taken so far, and future, if we are not serious about our devotional service, is our relationship with Lord. That is sanatana, not the kula dharma, which is sanatana. Dharme naste kulam krishnam adharmo bhi bhavatyuta. When the dharma gets destroyed, adharma increases. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. So when family traditions are not followed, when you have an elderly person in the family who practices the family traditions according to the scriptures, and if we don't have that elderly person to guide us, when we won't have a controlled, cultured, disciplined life. And when we don't have a disciplined and cultured life, we will deteriorate more and more. So here, Kulakshaya. In the system of Varnashrama institution, there are many principles of religious traditions to help members of the family grow properly and attain spiritual values. The elder members are responsible for such purifying process in the family, beginning from birth to death. But on the death of elder members, such family traditions of purification may stop, and remaining younger family members may develop irreligious habits and thereby lose their chance of spiritual salvation. Therefore, for no purpose should the elder members of the family be claimed. Nowadays, we don't even know the importance of elder people in the family. We think that, oh, they ask us to do this, they ask us to do that, they are always behind us. We will be pretty much knowing, because of them, we have a little bit more disciplined life, because they have a routine and all. When they themselves know the traditions, that's a different problem. But if the elderly people of the family are responsible and they know the family traditions and they guide us, and even though we are not liking, if we follow them, we will be disciplined, we will be cultured, we will be purifying ourselves, and we will be progressing in our in practicing the Varnashrama dharma. So most of the time we come to a conclusion that this Varnashrama Dharma is not right. Let's discard this. Now I know that devotion is greater than Varnashrama Dharma. So let me discard this Varnashrama Dharma. Now I am a pure devotee. So never ever a pure devotee says that he is a pure devotee. We evolve into a pure devotee, and it comes naturally to us that we always think of Krishna. So there is, and we always act at the soul level. So we don't have any responsibilities at the bodily level. So it comes naturally. But we adapt this process to escape from doing the things that we are supposed to do with the body. So the beginner stage, following the Varnashrama Dharma, itself, it is not any obstruction. It also progresses us towards salvation. But it is a very slow process. But we should be still following that until we become a pure devotee of the Lord. And automatically at that point of time, we ourselves will stop following that. So the only dharma that is Sanatana is bhakti, our constitutional position. We are servants of the Lord and rendering devotional service to him. That is the only thing that is Sanatana, not the Kula Dharma that is Sanatana, like how Arjuna is thinking here. Adharma bhibhavat Krishna. I'm sorry, Mataji, there was an alarm going, so I just stopped it. Adharma bhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha strishu dustasu varshneya jayate varna sankaraha. Adharma bhibhavat Krishna. So he's telling the cycle, what happens when family tradition goes away, when elderly people in the family are not available to tell us what is right, what is wrong, what should we do, what should we not do. What happens? Adharma increases, irreligion increases. Adharma bhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriyaha. Pradushyanti becomes polluted. Kulastriyaha, family, ladies. And dustasu, being so polluted, varshneya, or descendant of Vrishni, jayate, comes into being what? Varna sankaraha. When irreligion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, or descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. So we have to read this verse, putting this in the context. We should not be taking this away from the context and suddenly starts feeling that I am a woman, I am degraded here. We should be seeing this in the right context. So as you all know, and in olden days, when wars happen, what the consequence of the war is that whoever wins, they capture all the women, and they take them as their they take them to their kingdoms, and they will be mostly like, they will not be kept as queens, they will be kept as prostitutes. So they exploit those women, and they engage with those women in union, and they produce progeny. Here the Varna Sankara is not literally between the caste. The Varna Sankara here is that there will be children born with low consciousness, not an elevated consciousness. Unfortunately, even though wars are not happening nowadays, most of us, not knowing the value of engaging in an union in Grihasthasrama and giving birth, that is also an yajna, that is also a service. Not knowing that, we, out of our sense gratification, we conceive, we give birth. So we won't be attracting a good soul into our wombs. The great devotees, they also take it as a service. They also take it as a blessing of Krishna. They chant more. They engage themselves in that process, and they pray for a good soul to be conceived. So here Arjuna's concern is that when all the elderly people in the family are killed, women will be misled. Family and children will be misled, because the structure of the family system is that the men of the family are supposed to be educated in sastras. I'm not talking here about the material educations that we have to have for maintaining the family. But if we see in the coming chapters, where Krishna speaks about how he acts in this world to set an example for the coming generations. Similarly, whoever is holding a responsible position in the family has a responsibility that they should be learning what is right and what is wrong according to the Shastra, and they should be guiding the family members accordingly, taking that responsibility of a leader and engaging themselves also in the Krishna's service. So they should know, and accordingly they should guide. So if these elderly people who are knowing the Shastra, who are knowing what is right, what is wrong, the family traditions, if they are not there, nobody will be filling their place and they will be misled. When these people are misled, these people are captured, when they are captured by the opposite army, all those people who are in the opposite army, they are already associates of, they are already in a bad association. They are not in any good association. They are not dharmic people. And when these people exploit this woman, then there will be a population of low consciousness. And when we have a people of low consciousness, we will be wondering sometimes, like when we see certain kind of crimes in the society, we actually it affects us a lot. The more we become devotees, I could not relate to this heart of Arjuna earlier, but as we are progressing, as we are understanding, we will be wondering, like, why did they commit this big crime for such a small thing? Do they have mind or not? Why are they doing like this? So when we look at certain kinds of crimes in the society, we worry what kind of a consciousness these people are having. What kind of souls are these coming with this kind of a consciousness? So the problem is that their conception was not done in a right way. The parents who conceived them could not attract a soul. So when the parents themselves are in mode of goodness, they attract a soul, good soul, which is in mode of goodness. When parents themselves are conceiving after drinking, driving and all, they are going to attract that kind of a soul. So the consciousness of the parents plays an important role at the time of conception. And the time of conception, all these things are also plays a role. So Arjuna's concern is that people with low consciousness will be born. That is the unwanted progeny. Not that, oh, I have taken all the measures not to have kids, and now I have a kid, that is an unwanted kid, or not like that. Arjuna's concern is here that the consciousness of the kids that are going to come, because there is no right or wrong way. These women are all captured now, or all they themselves don't want to be in that position, but they are now in that position, and they are conceiving, and they are bringing into existence all these souls which have less consciousness. So somebody who may be reading this verse also may be paying attention to the words in the purport. So per soul there is no men and women, American Indian, fat, thin, black, white, yellow, green. Soul does not have any of these identifications. All these identifications are at the body level. So once we elevate ourselves, once we take up the adhyatmic way, when we are growing, soul does not have any gender. Only body have a gender. By nature, like how a tiger has a nature, a cat has a nature, a dog has a nature. So the soul which is taking a particular body get conditioned by that body. If you see the soul's nature in humans, soul's nature in dog is same. But we have an elevated consciousness and they don't have that. So they act differently and we act differently. So in the similar way, woman body has certain features, certain things, which are good for them to become great devotees. Prabhupada mentions many times that there are many great devotees who are women, but generally, women's identification with body is more like, that is the expectation the society sets on a woman, that you have to look good, you have to be beautiful, you have to be fair to get married and all. So we grew up like that. So we have a lot of identification with the body, and then we relate ourselves, act at the body level. Women act at the body level more. And also by nature, a little bit sentimental, more emotional, more merciful, more loving, more selfless. So when all these qualities are there, it will be very easily, people will pollute us. People will cheat us, like they trick us. They trick us into the things that we should not be doing. We also often, in my childhood, we know how to get the things done by the father. We'll go through the mother. Like, mother will be very merciful. She will listen. She will be nice. She'll at least gives me and attention. And if I am little emotional, sad, she agrees. So in that nature, it's very easy to divert them. And and when the right people are not there to protect them, guide them, they will be misguided. Once we take up to the spiritual path, once we start reading the scriptures, there is no man and woman. And Prabhupada, instead, Prabhupada says that women can become great devotees of the Lord. So that is what this verse is. Sankaro narakayaiva kulagnanam kulasya cha patanti pitaro hesham lupta kindodaka kriyaha. So what happens? So that the sequence is going. Elderly people in the family are dying. Family traditions are going off. Unwanted progeny with low consciousness is born. They don't have any culture. They don't have any discipline. They don't follow any rules and regulations. And what is happening? They stop practicing the family tradition. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. Now, Arjuna's tension is, he is worried that the future generations will be not having anybody to guide. And one more tension Arjuna is having is that even I will be responsible for making that happen. So I will also have a hellish life. Not only the people who are living, coming in future, but because I will be the cause of it. Because in this war, I'm going to kill all the elderly people. Even I have to take the responsibility of it. So in this way, Arjuna is telling here some things which we all also have to notice. So whoever destroys the family traditions, they will be accounted for that. So he's saying that. And what do the ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped. This is another problem. So Arjuna is thinking about the ancestors, the future generations, and the current. So when family traditions are stopped, the Shraddha karma and all are stopped. People always have misconceptions about these things. Actually, the Shraddha karma is nothing but that we offer prasadam to the departed souls. So that, because not all souls get a gross body. Some souls who have kill themselves forcefully, or who are sinful, who are waiting to get a gross body, they will be waiting for the people in their family to do these karmas and offer this prasadam to them so that they can get a gross body and they can come down to the earth and perform their devotional service or perform some punya, because earth is the only place where they can accrue punya or papa. So performing this Shraddha karma is like we also have a responsibility. All of us have three runas: Pitru Runa, Deva Guna, Rushi Runa. So we all are indebted to the devatas, indebted to the ancestors, indebted to the Rishis for giving us all these scriptures, which helps us to which helps us to know what is right, what is wrong, and behave in that way. And ancestors also for giving us a tradition, for establishing a family and giving all the properties or whatever it is. And also like Pitru Loka. So Pitru Ganas are also one set of Devata Ganas. They are all Devatas also. So in this process of Shraddha, actually, we are offering prasadam to them. So they will also help us. They will also help us to like somebody we see in this Prabhupada says about the ghost, and the Pitruganas are like they are also devatas, so they will help. So whatever we are offering in this Shraddha karma, so these Pitru devatas, they accept that, and they will elevate these souls which did not get a proper body to take a proper body and continue their human form of life. So it is very important to do these things. But if we are practicing devotional service, if we are chanting the holy names of the Lord, and if we are pleasing Krishna, then we don't need to do all those things. But very few take the path of Bhakti Yoga. Most of the population are surrounded around Karma Kanda. So generally when we talk as if like Karma Kanda is something kind of a mean thing or any or so. But generally we are very fortunate that we are introduced to Krishna consciousness and we have bhakti. we are introduced to Bhakti Yoga, and we are performing devotional service to the Lord. And when we satisfy the Lord, everybody else gets satisfied. So we don't need to do these individual traditions. If we are doing the devotional service to Krishna and following the rules and regulations of Guru, but most of the population, they do karma kanda. So we have to follow these traditions so that we will be good, and also we will be helping the generations before us also. So then people may have immediately a question: we do this once a year, how the how the ancestors are going to benefit? They are going to wait for own year. So all of you by now know the time thing, right? Like our 1 year is 1 day for the Devi Devatas. So that is how it is. So the Pitru Devatas, or there are two things like Pitaras or ancestors, and Pitru Devatas are also one category of Devatas, one category of Devatas who take care of this, who take care of all this structure. So Pitru Loka is like a junction. Pitruloka is the place where souls go and stay there until they get a suitable body to occupy on the earth. So according to the rules and regulations of fruitive activities, there is need to offer periodical food and water to the forefathers of the family. So this is actually an offering to the Vishnu. This is not an offering to the ghost. So that is another misunderstanding many people have. And this is a Vishnu Prasada, which we will offer. So that Prabhupada writes here in this, like, thus, when remnants of prasadam food are offered to the forefathers by descendants, the forefathers are released from ghostly or other kinds of miserable life. Such help rendered to forefathers is a family tradition. One who is engaged in devotional life is not required to perform such actions. So if we are engaged in devotional service, we don't need to perform that because we are pleasing the Supreme Lord. Automatically, everybody else get pleased. Doshair etai kulaghanam varna sankara karakai utsyadhyante jati dharma kula dharmascha sasvata. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated. This is the problem that we all see now. I often remember one encounter of Srila Prabhupada when he was traveling by and somebody was giving him introduction of all the buildings. And they said that this hospital has 100+ beds. And that's how progressive this country is. And Srila Prabhupada said that is not progression. Like how we say this old age, now we have built a old age and now we are expanding our old age in another city, If somebody is telling like that and saying that that is a kind of a progress, then we have to think where we are heading to, because we need to take care of our family. We need to take care of elders in our family, children in our family. Marriage should be maintained. Small difference, we think that, oh, this person is not suitable for me. Somebody else may be suitable. It is the same story that will repeat, but we will know later. So our tolerance, our patience levels have become so low that little bit of inconvenience, little bit of shortage in our sense gratification is triggering us to leave that responsibility and give up that. And then because of that, what is happening? The community projects are increasing and family welfare activities, they are increasing so much so that we are not able to maintain them properly. So Arjuna is thinking so forward because Arjuna is an administrator. Arjuna knows like he has to take care of those who have no one else to take care. And now if we make so many people as homeless, helpless, then we have to take care of all these people. And this is the situation we see now in the world. People don't take the responsibility of the children they are giving birth to. People are not ready to get married, not ready to get committed to. And we see so many people so alone at later stages of life. They have to depend on someone to take care of them because they don't have family. So all these happening because we are all moving away so much from our Vedic culture. We are all not having the tolerance to tolerate each other, have patience to understand each other. But the Vedic Dharma says like, your parents become your second children and they grow. And you should be showing that kind of a tolerance, that kind of a patience towards them and taking care of them. And your children, how we show so much patience to our children, in the same way we have to do that. When we don't do all those things, society has to take care of all of them, and all the welfare activities will be devastated. So that is the concern of Arjuna. Utsanna kula dharmanam manushyanam janardhana narake niyatam vaso bhavatityanu. Utsanna kula dharmanam. When the kula dharmas are spoiled, manushyanam janardhana, Janardhana, Krishna, narake niyatam vaso. Oh Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. So those who destroys the family traditions, they will dwell always in hell. So that is the that it is not my statement, Krishna. I heard it. Naraka, hellish life. So they will go to Naraka, and he's saying that Narake niyatam, they will be eternally in hell. So this also we know that hell or heaven, both are not eternal. They are not end. After we suffer our sufferings, we have to come back again. Heaven also the same situation, hell all the same situation. But right now, Arjuna is so overwhelmed, so he's thinking that he will be in hell forever. And he's saying that I'm not speculating this. I have heard this from the authoritative sources. And he also mentions the word prayaschitta. I will just bring that out here. Prayaschitta. One who is always engaged in sinful activities must utilize the process of atonement called prayaschitta. Without doing so, one surely will be transferred to hellish planets to undergo miserable lives as the result of sinful activities. So if we do not do prayaschitta for the sins that we have committed when we are living, before we die, we have to suffer sins for that. And this definitely, whenever I read this prayaschitta word, it immediately refers Ajamila's story to me, where Ajamila discards Karmakanda way of doing prayaschitta, Jnanakanda way of doing prayaschitta, and he says that devotional service to the Supreme Lord, hearing and chanting the names and glories of the Lord, not only atones the sins that we have committed in the past, but it also purifies our mind in such a way that the seed, the sinful seed which is inside our mind, which is waiting for a situation or a circumstance to come out, will also be removed. That means the real atonement is not just by doing a karma kanda and get rid of the sin. The real atonement is the change behavior. Change in the behavior is the real atonement. And the change in the behavior happens only when we get rid of our lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion. And how can we win these 6 enemies? By only performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord, by taking our devotional service serious, sincere, chanting the holy names of the Lord, regularly hearing. That is the real prayaschitta. So we know that we have to do prayaschitta for the sins we have done. The problem with the karmakanda way of prayaschitta is, you need to know first the list of the sins that we have done. First of all, we don't accept that we have done sin. Nobody accepts. If we say that, oh, you are suffering, we go and tell to anybody like, oh, it may be because of your past sins you are suffering. Immediately they take offense. They say, no, I am a great devotee. Krishna is testing me. That's why I am suffering. That is true. That is also true in the case of the devotees. But most of the times when we are sadhana bhaktas, we will be suffering because of the sins that we have done. So in the karma kanda, the problem is that you should be knowing what kind of a sin we have done. Then only we can go and find a particular prayaschitta. So the best prayaschitta is performing devotional service to Krishna, chanting the holy names of the Lord and listening to Krishna Kada. That will purify our sin, for our sinful tendency also. Aho batamahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadraja sukalobhena hantum swajana mudhyata. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts. Driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness, we are intent on killing our own kinsmen. So this also Arjuna is telling. The desire to enjoy kingdom has become so strong that it is making us to commit all kinds of sin. And here also he uses the word swajanam. He still thinks that all of them are my people. Yadraja sukalobhena. Because I'm greedy behind the kingdom, I'm getting ready to kill all my people. And Mahat Papam, I'm ready to do this kind of a big papam. So we know that Krishna already tells in the further chapters, Kama eva krodha eva. When Arjuna asks, why people do sins? Like as if somebody is forcing them, Krishna, even though they don't like to do. Oh, it is nothing. Kama yesha krodha isha. Your desire and your krodh, desire which has turned into wrath when not fulfilled. So desires are the root cause of this material body. Desires are the root cause of us doing sinful actions. So we cannot stop desires. As long as we are taking, desires are like an incessant flow of water into the sea. But what we can do, we can divert those desires. We can change those desires towards Krishna. We can turn them towards Krishna, and we can purify our desires. We cannot go to a stage where we will say that I will not be thinking anything. I will not have any desires. Let me stop all those thought process. It's very difficult. That is how the Gnana yogis try to do. It's very, very difficult. The best way is to purify all our desires towards Krishna. So here Arjuna says, because of our desire, we are committing this sin. Edi mam apratikaram asastram sastrapanayah datra rashtarane hanyos tanme kshemataram bhavet. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. So Arjuna is now going, his emotions are going too high. He's losing in the mind before he even fight the battle. So this is what happens with us most of the times. Even before we go and face the real problem, we lose that in our mind by our overthinking, by our overanalysis. We will be seeing all kinds of negative things only. How much ever we learn, we won't be finding any positive thing in that. So we give up even before we start something. If we ask somebody to chant, Mataji, no. I am somebody, if I take up something, I will chant 16 rounds early in the morning, in the Brahma Muhurta, by taking bath, by finishing my Mangalarti. Only at that time, I'll take up chanting. Until I come to that stage, I'll not take up chanting because I don't like to do imperfectly. That is how we say. We should start doing wherever we are. Eventually, Krishna helps us to make perfect. So most of the times, even before facing our battles in life, even before going into the situation and facing, we lose internally, in the mind, by our emotions. We don't have control on our emotions and we lose it. Yadimam apratikaram. He's saying that generally there are rules, there are ethics that you should not be killing a person who doesn't have weapon. And now Arjuna is saying that's okay. I will leave my weapon on down and let them come and kill me. That means Arjuna is ready to voluntarily give up his life. Indirectly, subtly, suicide kind of a thing. Like I'm ready to die, but I don't want to do this kind of a sins. So all along, Arjuna is thinking, what is going to happen to him if war happens? I am loving these people. I cannot fight. They are all my loved ones. I won't be able to enjoy. I will not fight. I will go and get sins. I will not fight. Family traditions, my family traditions are going to, what my family? Arjuna was born in this family for this lifetime. My family traditions will be destroyed. I will not be fighting. So like that, Arjuna says, and Sanjaya Uvacha, Evam Vuktvarjuna Sanche, Tatopasta Upavisat, Visrujjasasaram Chapam, Soka Samvignamana. Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. Lamentation. While observing the situation of his enemy, Arjuna stood up on the chariot, but he was so afflicted with lamentation that he sat down again, setting aside his bow and arrows. Such a kind and soft-hearted person in the devotional service of the Lord is fit to receive the self-knowledge. So Arjuna's situation, Arjuna's soft-heartedness, compassionate, all these qualities makes him eligible to become to receive this knowledge. He needs this knowledge so that he can perform his prescribed duty more correctly, and he can be a tool to implement Krishna's plan. So Arjuna kept his bow and arrow aside and he is not ready to fight. So as I said earlier, most of the times I was hearing somebody saying like, oh, only one person can not do mistakes in this world. Who is that person? The person who doesn't do anything. But all of us who are doing some things are doing mistakes. So the real failure is when we stop learning from our failures, not really failure. And we see that how it comes in future, where Krishna says that how he will be pleased if we engage in just the action and give our 100% to that. So this is how the situation is right now, where Arjuna spoke, gave all his reasons, and he kept aside his bow and arrow, and he is not ready to fight. What happens if he is not ready to fight? Why all of you are so particular that he has to fight? Arjuna not fighting means Arjuna not doing his prescribed duty. One more level. Arjuna not acting for the pleasure of the Lord. Devotees does not think this is good for me, this is bad for me. If Krishna is getting pleased by this, I'm ready to engage myself in this. Even though I don't like it, I will do this if Krishna is going to get pleasure. Even though I like this, if this is not going to please Krishna, I am not going to do this. So from these two perspectives, if we see, Arjuna not fighting the war is not the right thing. So that's why now Krishna will start speaking from the next chapter, and Krishna will answer all the questions of Arjuna, which he has put, all his concerns one by one. Krishna will start answering. I will stop here. I am extremely sorry. I think I crossed your time. I didn't look at that.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for a very, very nectarian class.
So detailed, Mataji. Very nectarian session, Mataji. Kuti kuti pranam to your charan.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, I have a question. What is Pitriloka? A devotee desire to go Gulaka to serve Krishna, to meet Krishna, but there are some people that goes to Pitriloka. What is the purpose of that?
More enjoyment, like how people like to go to heaven. Pitruloka is like not like those people who go to heaven have to do a lot of punya so that they can get qualified to enjoy there. So those who do little bit less punya, they can go to Pitruloka and they can enjoy there. Quality of life.
What kind of environment there?
So like, as you know, Mataji, all these Devi Devatas are there to assist Krishna in taking care of this universe. So they will also take care of this progeny, taking forward the progenies on the earth. So they will have those powers. They will, if they are pleased. So that's why many people are advised to do the
Devata there. Who
they are Devatas. They are also one category of Devatas.
Okay. And then they like heaven, like Sharga, people goes.
There is a Pitruloka down in the universe, right? Like they have their own planet. They are not in the heaven. They have their own planet where they live, and they take care of this. So when people do these Shraddha karmas and all, they actually please these Pitru Devatas, and they will be blessing the those people with good progeny. They will help. They will help them to. So this is something, a remedy which people suggest, right? Like, or when you are not having children, they say go and do the Pitru karmas, so you please the Pitru Devatas, you will get children. So those who karma kanda, that is one process to get good progeny. So they are responsible for that, Pitru Devatas. And Pitaras are our ancestors.
Ancestor, but Mataji, is our Pitamaha, Prapitamaha, they already born somewhere, right? Took their body, right? But
but actually we are not actually offering to them. We are offering to the Lord. We are offering to the Lord, and that is Vishnu Prasada. we are offering, right? So it's people generally think that we are offering, like it is the whole process is offering, pleasing these devatas by offering Vishnu Prasadam to them. If let's say if they have already taken birth, there may be the souls which did not, or they may not be having the lives they are. So it is like pleasing these devatas. Mostly it is like by doing these karmas, we are pleasing these devatas so that they can deliver anyone in that lineage who are struggling with not getting the gross bodies like that. Not exactly like our father. See, one more thing. It's not that as soon as they are died, they died, they will be born. It's not like that also. If you see Garuda Purana, based on our sins and our punya karmas, right? So we will be either going to hellish planet and suffering for our sins, and then we will come and we will be born. So some people, they think like, okay, this year my father died and next year I conceive, I'm giving birth to my father. It's not really like, it is good to think like that, but it may not happen like immediately like that. So we also have to
say again, Mataji, what you said, my father died.
No, I may be going into more details of that, but I'm just saying that they may be those who departed in our family. They may not be born immediately on the earth. We have to, if we have done sins, we have to make our visit to hellish planets, right?
Yes.
So that helps if we please the Pitru Devatas.
It helps. Yes. Okay, Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Before we take any questions and answers, I'm going to request Hari Lila Prabhuji, then with pranam to you, if you can do Anumodan. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. I'm very glad to hear your class, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the opportunity. I'm fortunate to do a service in my own capacity for the devotees here.
You have a huge knowledge about Shastra, Mataji. So much.
Hare Krishna. I will ask Praduman Prabhuji, then with pranam to you, if you can do Anumodan too. Praduman Prabhuji. All right, I think we can take question and answers. If any devotee has any doubts or questions, they can raise your hands. I can see Radhe Govind Mataji. You can unmute yourself.
My computer is shut down for no reason.
Yeah.
So I have to join on my cell phone here. Thank you, Mataji, for very nice, very detailed lectures that you have given on Bhagavad Gita, explaining each and every word of the verse, and also taking care the Prabhupada commentary and other Acharya's comments that you have explained Shastric way. We are so thankful to you, Mataji, and we hope that you will continue coming to our Parsarthi Foundation, so our devotees can get benefit from you, or Vani, from your lecture, from your wisdom that you have accumulated through years of experience. So much thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. I know we had contact in past regarding our PowerPoint show,
yes,
but we missed after that.
I am fortunate to do a little service to you.
Thank you so much, Mataji,
Thank
for
you so
your
much,
kind explaining me all the verses very nicely. Thank you so much. So now I'll talk to Radha Govinda Mataji. Please take the questions from the devotees that we have. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much for nice class, and a lot of things you have described from different sloka. And thank you very much. Please come again and give us everybody Krishna Katha. Very good. Nice, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavad Pranams.
Govinda, your student, Mataji.
Yes, I recognized his voice.
Govinda.
Yeah.
Okay, I will request Radhe Govinda Mataji. Unmute yourself.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you, pranams, Mataji. Thank you so much for such wonderful lecture, which was full of wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much, Mataji. My question was like you mentioned that devotee should not be coward, thinking that I should be tolerant and forgiving and not retaliating. But something which is blocking our path of devotion, we should retaliate. So can you please explain with the real life example as to like how to understand when we are put to such situation? So can you please guide on that?
Sure, Mataji. See, if anything that is blocking your spiritual life, and then you are not obligated to live in that situation. See, we are sometimes obligated to live in the family, even though we have an opposition for our devotion life. So we cannot hastily say that I'm going to give up my family. We should not be quickly doing that. But there are so many situations that we can deal better, like which are becoming an obstacles on our path. So when I say that devotees should not be covered, so this is something I always tell myself and I try to do is we don't need to be aggressive, but we can be assertive. So we can always have a control on our emotions, take a pause and think through it and go and encounter that person or that situation and say that this is something I'm not liking, this is blocking my spiritual growth, and I am sorry I am getting hurt here, or I'm sorry I'm not liking this. Maybe you may not be wrong, I may not be in a situation to handle this right now, and we should be able to say that, and we should be able to avoid. See, there is a misconception that we have to treat everyone same. That doesn't mean that, let's say you have a tiger and a cat, you can keep cat on your lap, but you cannot keep tiger on your lap. So you should not be saying, Mataji, I have to treat both of them same. How can I keep tiger in the cage and cat on my lap? Let me put tiger also on my lap. No, treating equal means knowing the boundaries, respect to their bodies and respect to their situations, and you respect tiger by putting it in cage and by being away from it and doing the needful. So when certain relations, certain persons or certain situations are becoming an obstacle for us in our devotional service, we should put up to that, and we should be saying, because my devotional life is more important to me, I will not engage myself in this. So we try not to become good everywhere. It is very difficult to please everyone. And we end up trying to pleasing everyone, forgetting that we have to please Krishna. Automatically, everybody gets pleased. Eventually, everybody gets pleased. We don't need, that doesn't mean that I will be disrespecting everybody. Like, oh, I'm pleasing Krishna, so I'll be disrespecting everybody. No, we should be knowing to where we can draw a line that I have respected enough. Now, the more I engage with this person, even I may become like that and I will start doing offenses. So let me keep a distance. Let me draw the boundaries clearly in our relationship or in our conversations or in our encounters and say that this is how it is. Before doing that, we have to do our own retrospection, that where I am going wrong. Is there anything on my side that I can change? Because all of us expect that change will start with opposite person, but unfortunately, change starts with us. It should start within us. So we should be knowing if there is anything that I'm doing wrong, which is kind of making us put us in this situation. We should be thinking that. So that should be first. And you think that, no, I'm doing everything according to the Shastra, according to the scriptures, and whatever I can do the best. Sometimes it may not be the ideal, but this is something right now I can do my best sincerely, because we have to be sincere to Krishna, not to anybody outside the world. Krishna, this is the max I can take the things. This is what me. And once we do that, we should draw the boundaries. And we should say that because my spiritual life is very important to me, this is blocking my spiritual life. So this is how I'm going to deal with this. This is how I'm not taking this. So remember not to be aggressive using harsh words, but you can be assertive, putting your feet down, saying that I cannot take this. I'm not going to entertain this. I'm not going to engage in this. These things we can say softly, and we should practice to say softly and nicely, not being emotional and aggressive, and explaining why we are doing what we are doing. what is important for us and how we are protecting our spiritual life by doing this. Is
Yes,
that
Mataji.
okay, Mataji? It's very difficult. See,
Yes.
Mataji, it's not easy as said, but trust me, if you start doing that by holding the feet, lotus feet of Krishna, it becomes easy. So don't think that I will do all this on my own strength, my talkative power, my intelligence. I will do all this with Krishna's mercy. I will hold Krishna's feet and I will do this. And I will pray to Krishna. I will beg Krishna to give me strength to do this. Then we are completely packed to go on this mission of doing it.
Yes, Mataji. It's Mataji. Actually, the point, like you mentioned that that the thing which is blocking our path, we should be assertive. Like blocking our path of devotional service is like from the mind. If some situation is disturbing our mind, or like the situation in which we are having anxiety. So are you relating with that? Are you trying to put a light on that?
So
Like
I was telling about the other living entities, but if it is something in your mind that is disturbing you a lot, so mind needs to be trained first thing. So we don't need to accept whatever mind is saying. So we should not think that mind cannot be changed. First of all, we should remove that thought that I cannot change my mind. So now, if some anxiety, some stress, something is bothering us in the mind, we have to have this flow chart. Did I do whatever I can do within which is in my limits? See, most of the time we worry about the things which are not in our limits, which we cannot do. If you have done everything with respect to that situation where you are feeling anxious or stressful, and there is nothing in your hands to do but just waiting for outside things to happen, then if you have done whatever you have to do, you should leave that matter. And whenever your mind is bringing that up, you should tell and train your mind that I have done whatever I have to do with respect to this. Now I'm waiting for something to happen from outside. So let me divert it to somewhere else. So it will bring 10 times today, and 10 times you trained it to go and look for something else. And tomorrow when it comes, it may remind you only 7 times or 8 times. It won't do the 10 times. So we need to train our mind. All of us, because we are in this material world, there will be situations because we are still not purified. We are still bodily conscious. We will be going to ups and downs in the life. So our sadhana should be very solid, that we do a quality of chanting. And then if we have done whatever we can do, whatever is in our hands, we should stop worrying about it. This is something I have heard by Chaitanya Charandas Prabhu. Like I always remind myself, worry is something like a debt. You are paying interest to the debt which you have not taken. So most of the time we worry about the things that did not happen or that may happen. So we don't live in the present. We live either in the past, that which have already happened. It may happen, it might have happened once, and we will be reeling in our mind again and again, and we will be thinking worse of the consequences. So we should be training our mind to distract from those situations, those things that are causing us anxious, that are causing us to be stressful. I am very anxious. I'm going to an exam. I'm very anxious. I'll take a deep breath. I will chant. Or this incident, this insult somebody has done to me is disturbing me a lot. So, and I am still not at that stage where I can discard that insult saying that, oh, I'm not body, I am soul. This insult is for body. That devotees will do. Pure devotees will don't even care. They will think that that insult was for body, I don't care. But we are not at that level. So we will be like, I will not be thinking about that insult at all. If my mind is bringing that, I will divert it by reading a sloka. I will divert it by chanting. I will divert it by listening. I will divert it by writing something. So we need to practice to train our mind. And once we start training our mind, then it starts getting under our control, and we will be slowly taking possession over it. And it's not easy, but it can be done. If it cannot be done, Krishna will not say that by practice it will come. So by practice it will come. And the strength to practice is our devotional service, our sadhana, our chanting.
Okay.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you so much for such wonderful explanation, Mataji.
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, keeping in everybody's time. It's very late now, so either we can take our questions tomorrow or we can ask some brief question. Brasana Rani Mataji, if you have a very short question, just go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Wonderfully you explained about the duty of the Kulastriya and how women supposed to be tolerance and patient, and that's what the Kulastriya supposed to, because they supposed to protect the family as a mediator, between the children and husband and all the adults and everybody in the house. So you very nicely explained that. That's what I want to tell you that. And like you said, Prabhupada, people before doesn't accept women as a Brahmin lady, and in a devotional service, like a Brahmin priest, But now Prabhupada opened that door for the women and teach them how to do that. And we have so many, some wonderful Brahmin priest Matajis, they are so wonderful devotional service. So that what, but that is also true because women are more in the bodily conscious, so that's why before they don't accept women as a priest, and now Prabhupada gave us the opportunity. So we have to take that chance to do this in this life and perform the devotional service and try to please the Krishna as much as we can to go back to God. Thank you, Mataji. I
Thank
like
you,
your class
Mataji. Thank you so much.
very much. Hare Krishna.
Right. Hare Krishna. So let's conclude our section for tonight. Vanchakalpatarubhaksha kripa sindhubhaivacha
Patitanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
vaishnavyo
vaishnavyo
namo
namo
namo अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय
jai.
श्री श्री राधा कुंज बिहारी लाल की जय श्री श्री लाल की जय हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Mataji, for
Thank
a
you
very,
so
Dandavat
very
much.
pranam.
nectarian class,
Hare.
Mataji. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Hari
Hare
Hari Bol,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Her Grace Vanmalini Mataji ki jai. Hari
Yeah.
Hari.
Bhagavad
Hari
Gita class, Mataji. Hare
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Thank you.